My name is Kurt Maldovan, and I represent Jacobs. If you guys don't know who Jacobs is, we're a 77,000, I did that last week, global engineering, design, construction, operations and maintenance firm, offices all over the world. And we're focused on providing innovation solutions for a more sustainable world. And today I'm going to talk to you about a bit of my journey as related to immersive construction and design visualization. So my journey started in roughly 2005. I was a researcher at Penn State University, and Jacobs and the General Services Administration was one of our clients. We had an opportunity to look into virtual mock-ups as a way to augment the traditional mock-up process. And at the time, the technology, I think a few folks mentioned it, Randy mentioned it in his presentation. In 2005, 2004, 2006, technology was even more nascent than it is today. It took a lot of hops, skips, and jumps to get to virtual reality. This is representative of a game engine environment that we developed to walk members of the courts through a virtual mock-up. So what we did was we had a team come visit us, and it was really a destination. What we proved through the research is that, yes, we were absolutely able to augment the physical mock-up process. We were able to help them make decisions both more collaboratively and more efficiently, because everyone was looking at the same model, walking through at the same space at the same time. The other thing that we were able to do is embed multiple options. That was not something that we could do in the physical mock-up. You could do it, but you have to tear it down and rebuild it, and that took time. That put a lag in the decision-making process. As time progressed, I joined Jacobs, and I was asked to help lead some of the effort related to our immersive visualization. And we built some of these interactive facilities, and we took them on the road. This is an example where we're taking VR to the client site, setting it up, and you can maybe hardly notice the large, active 3D glasses that these folks are wearing. It was great from a storytelling and walking through standpoint. A lot of what we're seeing in practice today were what we were able to put in practice at that time. Unfortunately, for both our business and for the clients that we were working with, we just weren't ready. It was too early. We had a lot of successes for about 3 years. VR for us was a destination. How do you take people and get to the point that you can make decisions by using the models? How do you embed multiple options, as I said before? How do you help teams resolve conflicts during design to prevent them from happening in the field and creating change orders? I want to fast forward. 2013, Google Glass was introduced. The DK1 for Oculus was around 2013, DK2 2014, HTC Vive, and Gear VR somewhere in the 2015-2016 timeframe. Just getting us to where we are today. We've got multiple VR setups, head-mounted displays. You can see the Vive, you can see the Rift, you can see Gear VR, and a number of other tools that we use. I can't watch a sporting event today without seeing an advertisement for something like a Gear VR. It's now becoming more embedded in consumer culture. And that's great news for those of us that are looking to do design and asset visualization. So what about a virtual design review? We parlayed it into some of the tools and technologies that we're using is being able to mark up these models, walking through real-time, live, collaboratively. You can squint and see some red circles and markups on these models. And then the clients are even having some fun. These are some screenshots of folks using augmented reality, the HoloLens, picking up, spinning around the model. So much so that we have a handful of clients now that as we've brought them into our own space, that they're saying that they must have these head-mounted displays in their offices, and they're starting to buy them, and they're starting to develop their own culture of using virtual models and virtual reality to understand designs quicker, to make better and more informed decisions. So this is, again, a very similar example. At the large stadium scale, using augmented reality for models that could not be housed in a space this size. This is an example where we did some 3D laser scanning, we did some modeling, and then we pulled in our new design into augmented reality and put it down in the swamp. So we're now taking augmented reality out to the job site for construction quality control reviews. You can kind of see, I don't know how much glare you have up on the screen, but this is the real space, the rooms overlaid with some shades of blue and cyan, mechanical, electrical fixtures and equipment. This is basically showing us what's above the ceiling, and we're using that to describe any deficiencies that we see in the physical space. While we're out on the job site, we're going deeper. We're capturing 360 site photos and taking them back to VR. This is such an impactful visualization for us because you can use it with your phone camera. You can download a GoPro app. You could do the 360 photos, and then when you're back in the office, you can take it and put it in a head-mounted display, headgear, and you could show it to people that weren't on the job site. And it's like they've actually been teleported doing virtual job walks. That's a bit more static than some of the dynamic stuff that was alluded to earlier this morning, but that's where we see some of the future. For further decision making, it's not just on a static design. This is an example from the Welsh government where we modeled what's called the A465, 10 miles of roadway with multiple scenarios, and they used it for stakeholder decision making. And there's been a few examples. They posted the press release about how Welsh government is using VR as well as the video itself. So that's up online, A465. Wanted to touch on safety aspect, and many of the presenters this morning talked about it more from an operational perspective with say, exoskeletons. We're looking at from an understanding of the situational awareness before you get into the space. And we have two examples where we've used it for creating a safety mobile app. One of them is for traffic management. One of them is for safety identifications. So we pull the simulation simulating real-world traffic to help understand some of our new designs. To say, if we were to reroute an interchange, what would the traffic flow look like? And that's pulling some real-time live data from some traffic sim engines. We're not necessarily tethered to the head-mounted display. We're looking at augmented reality and virtual reality by using the tablets as well. This is an example where, from our visual media group and our advanced planning group, where they're doing some cityscape planning. Various scenarios where you hover over a two-dimensional picture, an image, if you will, and based on some of the markers that are in that image, you're pulling it up on your iPad or your tablet. This is a Microsoft Samsung tablet, where you can see what those scenarios look like. Again, just helping with the decision-making process. And our final example transports us to the Jacobs Irvine, California office. This is a demo that we put together for Construction Safety Week. And it demonstrates scenario and egress planning. So you're going to follow the green arrows to safely exit the 4th floor. Just let this play for a second. Time. Okay, good. So this was put into an augmented reality device, the HoloLens, where we captured, excuse me, the design floor. This was a newly renovated office. And we mapped out the areas that you don't enter in an egress situation. And then, like I said before, follow the green arrows to safely exit. And so we're starting to think about augmented reality in different terms with how do we apply safety egress paths. So I did want to just wrap it up real quick, and I think we have some time for questions, Ryan. So despite the initial hurdles that we had with the software and hardware, the market seems ripe for deep adoption. And my thought is that we're quickly going to move beyond the immersive design review and virtual reality to an integrated Internet of Things driven augmented reality. I'm happy you spent time on your journey and excited about the future. Thank you very much.